Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Golly, we've been gone for a long time.
It's been a long time.
Long time.
Hope
Say
you
what?
had a good Thanksgiving.
Say what? You know, yeah, Thanksgiving was awesome. Are you telling me or are you asking them?
I told them I hope them that.
Hope them did?
What?
Yeah, man. Still dealing with some turkey.
Yeah.
Got y'all. You know, the thing about turkey is, let me just put this in this podcast because, you know, a lot of you that are driving around, you're going to be hearing our podcast. Number one, you're not watching us, which is unfortunate on your part because that kind of makes the whole thing kind of work. But hopefully we're going to be able to, this sounds stupid, but we're going to take this podcast to the next level by doing away with the video part and just having a podcast like normal people because we can't do anything normal. We've got to do it all weird. But
video podcast, you know.
Huh?
We can keep the video.
Yeah, we can.
It should be special.
But we'll want to take this to the next level and actually add some new stuff to it. So we got some new podcast news coming to you at the first of the year. We're excited about it. It's going to be great to take our podcast game to the next level.
How'd you get from turkey to that, though?
Well, I was coming all the way back
Okay,
around.
I'm
Are you with me
I'm
now?
waiting.
So what I was saying is we've missed you on podcasts, went through the holidays. We've had Thanksgiving. You said turkey, and it reminded me because, you know, I deal with ADD, ADHD, but here, turkey is the most overrated meat.
Oh, I was about to say.
Period.
I don't like it. The only way I can eat it, I gotta have the dressing with it, and then I'd rather have chicken.
So exactly, you'd rather have chicken. Here's my argument. You eat turkey because you're obligated. I mean, you're obligated.
Yeah.
If you weren't obligated, it wouldn't even be a thought, right? I mean, you wouldn't. How many times have you ever just gone to a restaurant and thought, you know what I'd give for a turkey leg?
Yeah,
you know, I mean, God. So we have tried to do everything we can. I've got buddies and they smoke them. So they'll spend 8 hours on a big green egg and they got these unbelievably smoked turkeys. I got a lot of friends that like to deep fry them, and they deep fry them. I deep fry one, and here's my thing is my turkey deep fried when it comes out, and there's pictures of it. It comes out and it's like, dude, you completely ruined Thanksgiving because it's charred black. I'm talking like charred. I'm talking like crusty. I'm talking like lick it on the outside of it, and it's like licking a house that has burnt to the ground.
You leave the skin on it?
Do you take the skin off?
I like the skin, but if you burn it.
Okay, so here's what happens: is I rub that thing down with honey and brown sugar and all that stuff. Well, when you fry it, all that just turns black, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So then when we cut it, man, it is the juiciest thing you've ever tasted.
So you like turkey?
You got to trust the process. No, I hate it. But if I want to eat turkey, that's the way to go.
See, it's not that good though.
I can't.
We did our turkey cook-off the other day, and me, RJ, and JT were the judges. We had 4 turkeys, we thought, and we picked one that was chicken.
Yeah, the one that came in third place was chicken.
No, the one that came in first place. We picked that for first place, but we decided we couldn't. We decided it was chicken.
Well, I mean, all this to say, we've got to get moving here. Turkey's overrated. I love Thanksgiving. But if I ever had it my way and I could revolutionize Thanksgiving, we would go with either steaks, you know, like
fried chicken,
big prime rib, fried chicken, or shrimp bowl.
Oh, that's it.
Come on.
I mean, we don't do shrimp bowls for any other holiday.
No, you have to wait till summer normally, but you know, my family, we'll do them anytime. We'll just throw down. I'll just throw down some shrimps, crab legs, crawfish. We're going to boil that thing, man. It's so good. Like
Spicy potatoes.
Pilgrims would have done that, definitely. They definitely would have done that had they had a pot to
they didn't know really about it then, I don't think.
But they didn't have their guys there.
Yeah.
They said, hey, listen, why don't we just boil this, man?
Let's start that.
Just throw this down.
Instead of a turkey cook-off, we'll do a shrimp bowl.
Let's do, next Thanksgiving is save a turkey.
Oh, I like it.
You like that?
It's done. It's in the books. It's on my podcast now.
Save a turkey.
Next Thanksgiving, 2018.
Done.
But now's the best time of this. It's my favorite part of the year.
I love it.
Christmas.
Yeah.
It's everybody's mind now. Some people had that mindset before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of did as a church because we were going with this new series that we started, the Regifter.
Yep.
And then we missed the week of the podcast that we're going to make up this week. Right?
This week we're going to have 2 podcasts coming out. We went ahead and did this one first since it was right on the heels of the sermon. The sermon should be up and it's right on the heels of that. But if you've already listened to the first sermon, the Regifter, talking about God re-gifting your worst days, that podcast will come out in about 2 days.
All right, perfect. So why the Regifter series?
Well, you know, here's the thing. It goes in line where we are. I mean, we've all done Christmas, holidays, all that stuff at this point. We've all gotten now gift cards and different things that have taken off, and we've all regifted.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a known thing, you know, what a regifting is. So I began to look at Scripture from a standpoint of Christmas and thought about the whole idea of regifting. What if God can take who you are, who you were, whatever, and regift it, make much of something that's gone wrong or been done to or whatever? And so we just went down this line of going, hey, what about this mentality of Jesus being the ultimate regifter? You know, he's the one that took what was intended for something and made something else out of it. And it just kind of stuck, you know, as we were in sermon prep and we were talking about it, it just kind of stuck with us, and that's where we are. And begin to look at the genealogy of Christ. And when you look at the genealogy of Christ, what you realize is there's a lot of folks that had God not stepped in and made something of their mess, they would have been out, not only out of the Scriptures, but out of the story of Christ. But because God made something out of their mess and became a regifter for them, they're in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. So when Jesus looks back on his earthly genealogy, he begins to see that his great-grandmother and great-great-grandmother and all these people are people that we know that were really screwed up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we went, because that's where I'm at. I mean, you know, if I live another 30, 40 years, whatever it might be, 50, there's going to be some moments in my life where you go, he was really screwed up. And hopefully, those are smaller compared to the ultimate. You know, he got it together and God did something pretty awesome with him. But had God not stepped in and made something out of my mess, then where would I be? So that's kind of the overall explanation of the series. God stepping in and regifting.
It's a cool series too, because when you think about regifting somebody, you get a present that maybe you didn't really want, but you know, one of your friends or somebody else, they do love that or love that gift card or whatever. You just take that gift card and you regift to somebody. Everybody's done it. Whenever we were coming to this series, I had actually done that the week before, and so they called me out and made me do that video of the first week because that was like a true story. But it's cool. But in that aspect, you're still getting a gift and you're regifting a gift. And when God is regifting somebody, and it's not just the people in the Bible that you're going to go through, he repackages everybody, right? And he takes something that is just totally messed up, or a situation that's just messed up. They messed up, or they got into a situation that was out of their control, and then God just takes that, repackages, like you're saying, and just turns it into something incredible.
Yeah, you know, so many times I think people are used to, and this was our whole Whisper series too, they get to a place in life to where the mess happens, either they did it or it was done to them, and they give up. Because we don't have enough. You're talking about somebody that you were talking about England, and you're talking about the Prince. Was it Prince Harry?
Harry, yeah.
Yeah, and you were talking about them having a long view, because he's going to marry an American, and so now she's going to be both, and his children could be potentially dual citizen people. So they technically he could run for president then, and then they take him back over America, playing for the long term.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny, but we don't normally think long term. You think about your life. Your life lives and dies in the moments. Mm-hmm. If my wife calls me this afternoon and says, hey, there's something going on, it's urgent. I don't care what it is, it's urgent. Because we're not thinking long term, we're thinking right now. If something goes on in the office, we're thinking long term, not. But we have to look at life and go, look, I don't live and die in this moment. I've had some pretty big moments. Yeah. I've had some pretty just messed up moments. I can't allow my future to die in that moment, because God's still in the regifting process. So even though I've messed up, somebody messed up to me or messed up on me or whatever, I can't give up there, because there's still hope that God would take my mess and do something with it. Now, what makes that difficult is not only when I forget that, but when everybody else that goes to church with you forgets it too.
Yeah, and that's hard to see too. Like when you're going through something dire in your life, or a bad situation, or you've been messing up, like you talked about Ruth 2 weeks ago, you talked about Tamar this week. If you would have taken Ruth after all the bad stuff that had happened to her, yeah, and someone told her, hey, don't worry, because God's going to turn this around and you are going to be a descendant of Christ. Christ is going to be your descendant. There was no way she would have thought that.
She's in Moab, man. She's not even close to where her in-laws are from Bethlehem. Yeah. She's living in Moab. She's a Moab lady. That makes zero sense.
Yeah. Tamar, whose husband, you're going to go into this more, her husband died, hasn't had a child, is trying to have children. She's just trying to live life. And these things keep happening to her. And then God, if someone told her it's okay because one of your descendants is going to be Christ, she'd be like, no, there's no chance. Look at my life right now.
I don't even have descendants.
Yeah. And so it's hard for you in that moment to think God has a bigger picture, overall picture for your life and going to be there.
Okay, so you just play it all the way out. I mean, you're a believer. You love Christ. So something happens later today, and that's your first thought. God's going to use this. You feel stupid.
Yeah.
You feel absolutely ridiculous. Either A, you did something, and now you're going, it's okay, God's going to do something out of it, and people will say, you're just letting yourself off the hook. You need to fix this. You need to go back and do this, before God can do anything. Well, that's not true. You don't fix you and then come to God. You come to God and let God fix you, right? So there's a lot of times people want to just interject themselves because we're good at being judges and executioners and go, God ain't going to do that. You know, you're just trying to give yourself a free pass. No, I'm not. I'm just saying I made a mistake. It wasn't my finest moment. I got a whole life ahead of me. God can use this for His benefit, my benefit, and everyone else's.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, you think about Tamar too in that moment. Everybody. Tamar, did you know about Tamar? Judah, did you know about Tamar?
They're ready to kill her.
It's everybody was on her.
Everybody, right? But then also, if something is done to you, and immediately you start playing for the long view and say, God can use this, you look ridiculous. You look like a person out of touch, in denial, in shock, doesn't know how to rationalize the same thing that you're going through. Instead of dealing with your pain, your grief, your hurt, you're just thinking God can use, you're talking crazy talk.
Yeah.
But the whole Bible is about that. Like, how long do you have to wait till you go, God can use me just like Tamar. God can use me just like Judah. I mean, Judah here is too. Here's Judah. Judah made a promise, broke it. Judah ends up sleeping with his daughter-in-law. He got his own daughter-in-law pregnant, right? He is one of Jesus' great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers. That is pretty strong.
Yeah.
We go to church with people just like Judah, right? And we absolutely crucify him. We kill him dead. So that's kind of where we went today or this week when we started talking about it and talking about pretending. How God can re-gift your pretending.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Really what we're talking about is hypocrisy. You know, I was real careful about using the word hypocrite because it's so easy. Man, it's so easy. I've been called a hypocrite. I'd say you have. Everybody you know has. Some people have been more vehement about the fact that we're hypocrites than others. It's an easy Christian word to throw around. It's an easy non-Christian word to throw around to talk about Christians.
Yeah.
It's just a tagline. He's the biggest hypocrite I know. You don't even know what you're talking about. You know? And it's funny because everybody that calls somebody else a hypocrite is a hypocrite. You know? Maybe not in that moment, or maybe not about that issue, right? They go, well, I didn't do what he did. I'm just telling you who I am. You know, my grandfather used to talk about, try to call people out and say, tell me if you're scared. If you're scared, I tell you scared. You know, if you're scared, say you're scared. I tell you if I'm scared, I ain't scared. Tell me if you're scared. You know, the whole idea was it was easy to ask somebody else if they're scared because you ain't scared, but you want to hear somebody else say they're scared. That's the way we do our hypocrisy. Our hypocrisy is all about pointing out stuff in other people that's not my issue, right?
It just deflects them off of you, you know?
Yeah. So if I don't have a problem with, I don't know, gambling, right? Let's say I'm not a gambler, and I'm not, right? I don't have enough money to gamble. I could probably get into it if I let myself go there, if I thought I could, but it's just not my deal. So it's easy for me to throw off on gambling if I want to because that's not my deal.
Yeah.
Right? But now my deal may be something else. Currently, my deal is pie. I am Fatty McFat Pants when it comes to pie. I have not passed up a piece of pie I didn't want.
And a Frosty.
Had a Frosty today. Well, I mean, it's on my diet. Can't have candy.
Yeah.
I can have Frosty.
Like
We're not eating cake, but I can definitely have pie.
Yeah.
So, that's my diet. So for me, I could talk about that because that's not my problem. But when it comes to being disciplined on sweets and pies and all that stuff, dude, I'm in. I've messed up. I'm a hypocrite. So we come to this whole hypocrisy movement, this whole thing, and it's so easy to come back and call other people hypocrites. You know, I mean, some people has called me a hypocrite. It's like, dude, seriously? But now, they pinned it on me, so what am I going to do? Just have to roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have I earned it? Yeah. Have I not? Sometimes. At the end of the day, my whole point is hypocrisy is something that we all deal with, and I wanted to look at that from a standpoint of going, okay, let's take the mask of hypocrisy off, which is what it means. Play the role. We play the role. We're posing. Take it off, and let's go. Okay, how do we battle our hypocrisy? How do I become a hypocrite, and how do I battle it to be real?
Yeah, because you really brought it all out on Sunday, talking about people that say different things just to deflect and hypocrisy, and really opening up about it in church.
Isn't that what we do, though?
Yeah.
Isn't that hypocrisy at its max?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a deflector. We're not dealing with me. I'm dealing with you. You know, that's our whole.
People would rather, instead of dealing with what they're going through, what they're struggling with, point out the flaws in another to keep all that off of them.
Well, you know, that is exactly right. And one of the things I wanted to move from too, kind of bringing this out this week, was hypocrisy and being a hypocrite is not just a church-related issue. It is a life issue. So we have people right now that are listening to our podcast that spiritually they're not a hypocrite. They're dead on spiritually. But in their daily living, they're a hypocrite. They're trying to fit in with people that they really don't, what they're into, that's not really what they're into, but they do it because they would rather be with them and be something that they're not and have the hobbies that they don't really like than to be alone.
Yeah.
You're pretending, right? There are people that are, spending it like they got it, and they're flat broke, but they're doing it because they're trying to keep up with somebody, and they're pretending. And so we've got this age of folks that, obviously hypocrisy's always been around, but it's a bigger issue than church. And I just wanted to speak into that and say, spiritually, we can't be hypocrites. We got to work on it. We got to take the mask off, be real. But in life, be real too. Don't sacrifice the real you to abstain and to look like a fake somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
So you got all this stuff in church with that, like you said, it's an easy word to throw around, and they're hypocrites over at the Grove, or they're hypocrites over here because we have a black ceiling. You talk about something, just random stuff,
Just random stuff.
But also in life, like you're saying, like people that act like they have it all together,
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, spend money like that they don't have, or act like their family is perfect, and really put on this front that they're all perfect.
Yeah.
And they're not being real with themselves, not being real with other people.
Well, one of the things I want to do is I want to give 3 points to how I become a hypocrite. Like, that's the question that I went to, was not, am I a hypocrite? Yes, I am. Not all the time, and neither are you, but at times I'm definitely a hypocrite. And I don't say that boldly like, yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I say that as just times I play the part. I don't mean to, and I don't get up in the morning and say, play the part, young fella. But there's just times, whether you're pretending to have strength when you don't have it, pretending to be humble when you're not, pretending to whatever. So the question to me was not whether I'm a hypocrite or you're a hypocrite. I went ahead and answered on your behalf, meaning the church, and I answered on mine and said, yeah. My question was, how do I get here? Mm-hmm. Like, what? I know that's not my heart, that's not your heart, and quite frankly, somebody says, you're a hypocrite, Tyler, that's fighting words. I'll show you hypocrite. I'm about to be as real as I've ever been, because I'm going to whip you. So how did I get here? How did we get here? And the first thing that I looked at was this. We become a hypocrite and not the real us when our mindset, our perception. I had a guy tell me this one time. Perception is reality, which is, and I argue, and I said, no, reality is reality. Perception is false. That's true. Perception is false, but it becomes reality for people because they believe it. When the truth is reality. That's what's real, right? Is what's going on. So we live in a world where perception is reality. So when I begin to perceive and believe that other people have it together, they have it all together, whether the way that they look, what they drive, where they live, how they handle themselves, how much fun they're having, their laughter, their smiles, their family, the setting, the dynamics, the finances, all that stuff. I begin to think, man, they got it all together. Well, that's a perfect little family. That's a perfect man. That's a perfect woman. That's a perfect this. That's a perfect whatever. When I begin to do that, I become a hypocrite because it forces me to either A, deal with my inadequacies and the fact that I don't have it all together, or B, to begin to act like I got it all together too. And so I become a hypocrite because now I perceive them to have it all together, and so I want to act like I've got it all together so that we can be equals. We both are faking, but I don't know he's faking, right? I'm just going based on what I'm seeing, and I'm thinking he's got it all together. That's my perception. That's reality for me. But the reality of the situation is he doesn't. He's covering too. She's covering too. So what's happened is now I'm pretending to be something that I'm not. I'm pretending to not have any issues. I'm hiding all my struggles. I'm hiding all my weaknesses. I'm hiding all my deficiencies because I want you to think I have it all together like I think you have it all together so that you and I can be together. And that's when I become a hypocrite. First, that's what's happened in churches. Churches have opened their doors Sunday mornings, and it's a whole bunch of people pretending to have it together so that we might make others believe that we do so that we can all get along and agree with one another.
You talked about it on Sunday up here. We talked about people coming down front and, like, oh, what are they praying about? You know? And when you struggle with something, the stuff I struggle with, it's hard for someone to say, this is what I struggle with, right? I want to put off the perception, like you're talking about, to where I'm not struggling with it. I'm good. And a lot of times, like, I know for us and for men or even women that want to be spiritually strong or put on that perception, you're like covering stuff up, just holding it all back. Instead of showing them, hey, this is what I struggle with, this is what I deal with. I'm just trying to be as real as possible.
You know, what it comes down to is weaknesses. Anytime I'm pretending to have it all together because I think you have it all together, what I'm doing is I'm covering up my weaknesses. That's the thing that I'm hiding. That's what I'm pretending in front of, right? I'm pretending I don't have this weakness. I'm pretending I don't have this issue. I'm pretending that I don't have this hurt, this pain, this whatever. So it comes down to my weaknesses. So what we talked about on Sunday was this guy can actually use my weaknesses. And very quickly, you can check it out on the sermon. But when I'm going to battle thinking you have it all together, the only way to battle having you all have thinking my perception that you have it all together is not to battle him. So battle number one technique would be this. I'm going to call him out. You ain't got it all together. I know you're lying. Now I become judgmental. What if he does have it all together? That'd be great. But I could battle that and go, I don't believe that. Now I become mean and hateful and ugly. Now my hypocrisy has gone further. Right? So my issue to battle me thinking he's got it all together, his family's got it all together, it's not to deal with him at all. It's to deal with me. And the way that I deal with me is to go, okay, I'm not going to allow my weaknesses to project me, to propel me, to project strength that is a hypocritical strength. But I'm going to back up and say my weaknesses can actually become my strengths. And so now, instead of me feeling bad because I don't have it together and I believe and perceive that he does have it together, I'm not even fooling with him. I like him the way he is. If he's got it together, great. If he's lying, it's on him. But right now what I've got to do is deal with me, and I'm looking at my weaknesses. And my weakness number one is an opportunity for Christ to show his power. That's what I shared in the scripture. So many of us, we want to hide our weaknesses and hide behind our weaknesses and be a hypocrite. And what we don't realize is when we don't admit our weaknesses, deal with our weaknesses, and allow them to be there, and allow Christ to work in them, we cut ourselves off from the power of Christ. The Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians 12:9 that Christ makes himself perfect, his power perfect, through our weaknesses. So let's back that up. If I take my weakness out, and that's where Christ perfects his power, is not my strength, but in my weaknesses. So I pull my weakness out and I refuse to deal with it. Where's Christ going to make his power perfect in me? There's no place. Mm-hmm. So my weakness has to be there. I have to deal with it and say, Christ, this is my weakness, man. I am struggling. What are you talking about? Here's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that guy, he's got it all together. I think he's got it all together. I don't know if he's got it all together, but here's what I know about me. I don't have it all together because I'm drowning in debt. I'm dying. I can't even buy, can't even buy 2 hot dogs at Sonic or whatever. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get another credit card, and I'm gonna just keep buying, and I'm gonna keep using, and I'm gonna roll in with stuff, and I'm gonna let them see it because they're gonna think I got it together like they got it together, and I'm gonna prolong my financial problems and not deal with them. Well, I've taken it into my own hands. Christ can't do something with my weakness. I've covered my weakness up. I'm covering for my weakness. And Christ's power is cut off from me because I'm living in Philip's power. Or I could go, I can't live up to that. I'm up to my eyeballs in debt. I need some help. And then all of a sudden Christ goes, all right, I've been waiting on you to say that. You're going to get with them boys. They're going to get you in a Dave Ramsey course. They're going to help you get your finances together. They're going to help you meet with a financial advisor. They're going to begin to cut things out. And you know what? In about 2 months, about 3 months, you're going to start breathing a little bit easier because they've helped you fix yourself. And you may have lost some things along the way, but your weakness now has power because Christ's power is perfected in it, and he's going to set you free. That's Dave Ramsey's whole story. Now, you talking about a guy that God took power, put it in it, and made it perfect. That's a guy. He had a weakness. Who would have thought that the guy that ends up teaching us how to handle our finances went bankrupt, right? Who lost everything. But he did. And I think the second thing you have to do with your weaknesses is not only that, but it's a place where you can actually cry out for Christ. I talked about this on Sunday. If you want Christ to hear your prayer for help, you got to admit your weaknesses. If you're acting like you don't have any, he doesn't hear you. And then number 3, your weaknesses are the place where Jesus hears the true hurt of our prayers. It's in my weakness. When I cover up my weakness, I'm not being honest. But when I speak through my weakness, like this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I'm hurting, this is what I'm struggling, this is why I'm just dying. Now, the Bible says the Holy Spirit comes in and he speaks on our behalf. With groanings too deep for words in those hurts. When I act like it's not there, I'm like, I can handle it. I got this. No, you don't. That's why you're in the situation that you are. So I think the moment that we come to in our weaknesses, and I'm not worried about him having it all together. I don't have it all together. I've got this pain over here, and I'm telling Jesus, I got this pain. I'm telling you, I got this pain. I can get it together like you. He left me, or she left me, or whatever, and it's destroyed the family. And I don't even know how to pray anymore, and I don't have this, and I'm dying here, and I'm looking at all these other hypocrites. No. I'm the hypocrite because I'm acting like I got it together, and I'm acting like I ain't got any struggles, but now I take the mask off, go, Jesus, help me, and I don't even know what to say. He goes, got you. And he speaks on our behalf with groanings too deep for words. So first thing that we do when we're dealing with hypocrisy is I become a hypocrite when I think they have it all together, and that's how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Battle it.
You see in students all the time, obviously I deal with them a lot, they try to be somebody they're not. They don't want to be real. They don't want to open up with their weaknesses and stuff like you were just talking about. And so they try to portray this person that they want to be. They act like they're being, but it's not just students. You see that in adults too, that they feel like they're not going to fit in if they live a certain way. What do you have to say about that?
Well, here's the second way that you become a hypocrite. I become a hypocrite when I think you've got it all together because I have to act like I've got it all together. Put the mask on, pretending. I become a hypocrite when I believe. Now I wrote this in my notes. I become a hypocrite. Second point, when I believe others will not accept the real me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I am afraid that you will not like me once you get to know me. That is a platform to become a hypocrite. You know why? Because now instead of being me and the real me, I have to pretend to be somebody else. So I got to put the mask on. I got to pretend. That's a hard thing to do. If you ever just thought about who the real you is?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
I mean, you're pretty self-confident.
Yeah.
You're not really a pretender. You're going to be who you are. Now, me and you are both in a business, in a ministry, and people say you got out of business. It's just a business. I mean, it's what we do. This is who we are. Yes, it's a ministry, but it's a business too. All right. So, when you think about growing a church or growing a business or whatever it might be, in this particular ministry that we're in, we have to be a people person. Which for some people like us, it forces us to become chameleons. Right?
Yeah.
You think about all the different people that you know and you rub elbows with in a single week. You got a guy coming today from TVA. going to be having a meeting with you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know nothing about no TVA. You know about TVA. You don't know nothing about no TVA. You don't know how to build this and make power and do all that stuff. Not to mention that you have fossil plants. You don't know about fossil fuel. The only thing you know about fossils is dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't doing that at TVA. At nuclear plants, they got engineers. They got grunt work. They got maintenance guys. They got big time smart CEO people. You don't know one thing about TVA. He's going to sit down in your office. He's going to have TVA across his shirt. You're going to spit game at him about TVA.
Mm-hmm.
About the water, about running power, about, I don't know, you might even go, like Doc did on Back to the Future, gigawatts. Whatever. I don't know what you're going to do. We become chameleons. Golfer walks in your office. Guess what you love? Golf. Right? You got this on. Where are you going later today? Basketball. Right? Guess what we've been following on Twitter all day? Who's going to be our next football coach? Mullet.
Let's go.
Guess what? We're all going to get mullets. Right? So you have a tendency to become a chameleon. And a lot of people do that. Right? Because at the end of the day, I would rather do that than show them my real me. So now I have to pretend, if I'm not careful, to be something that I'm not, and to be somebody that I'm not, because I'm afraid you'll reject me. Now, when you get to know me, right, and I keep people at a distance. I very rarely let people real close to me, I got a lot of friends. I got a lot of people that know of me, but not many people that do know me. Why? Because a lot of times, and I've let people in, A, they don't like what they see. B, they betray you or betray me. So I keep people at a distance. But ultimately, if I let you in, I'm willing to be the real me with you. And that's scary. And it's probably scary for you when you're like that with somebody. Because what if they decide they don't like you no more? Your sense of humor. My sense of humor is messed up. You know me.
Yeah.
My sense of humor is jacked up, dude. It don't sound like no pastor's sense of humor sometimes, it's dark or whatever. I've got ADD, ADHD. I'm hard to hold a conversation with sometimes because I'm all over the place. The beginning of this podcast, I was talking about turkey.
And then our podcast.
And then, so there's a fear, and I've got weaknesses. So we become somebody that we think somebody's going to like because I'm afraid they won't like the real me. So I'm becoming a hypocrite. And I'm telling you right now, I'm talking to people out there right now. They're going to listen to this podcast. They are a hypocrite. They don't know they're a hypocrite, and they would never sign up to be a hypocrite, but they call other people hypocrites. The truth of the matter is it's not a Jesus deal. It's not a spiritual thing. It's where you're sitting, where you are right now. And the truth of the matter is you're not real with anybody. You're fake with everybody because you're afraid if they get to know you, they won't like the real you. And it's not that the fake you's mean, ugly, bad, or whatever, but you're willing to sacrifice the real you so that everybody else can fall in love with a fake you, right? So you feel empty, you feel broken, you feel like nobody knows you. You know why? Because you won't let anybody know you. You feel like no one would like you. You know why? Because you've never given anybody the chance to. But they like who they think you are. And you've become a hypocrite. And so students do it, adults do it, parents do it, spouses do it. I mean, you got hypocrites in marriage.
Mm.
Why? I'm afraid my wife won't like me. I'm afraid my husband won't like me. My kids, whatever. So hypocrisy's deep, dude.
It's so much easier to keep people at a distance and put on a show.
Oh my gosh.
Than it is to let them in.
So, right? And I mean, and it depends too, because then there's this situation to where, okay, not that this would happen, but let's just use us for an example and pick on ourselves. You might say, I'm going to be real when I'm Phillip. Let's just say there's things that you don't do, don't act, you keep to yourself, you don't want me to know about you. Because you're afraid if I knew them, I wouldn't like you. So there's another level to that. You say, well, I can't be real me, because if he found out about me, he would fire me. He wouldn't like me. Not only would he not like me, he wouldn't let me work for him. Or I might go, I can't let him know the real me, because, see, our relationships run deep. Mm-hmm. So there's so many things dependent upon it. And I go, well, if he finds this out about me, then he won't want to work for me, or he may want the church to fire me. And we become hypocrites. And what I was sharing is this: It's so much easier just to go, man, I've got problems, you've got problems. I just happen to preach. You just happen to be a pastor. Can we not just enjoy the fact that we both got problems, love each other through them, know that you got baggage, know that I got baggage? But that's not why I'm in this thing. I'm in this thing because I love you and I care about you and you love me and care about me. And I would rather know you, warts and all, than to know the fake you and then be let down. Now, I heard a guy say it like this one time. He said, I'd rather have the devil I know than the one I don't.
Mm.
That's a pretty good statement. Not that I'm encouraging you to go get the devil. But the truth of the matter is, I'd rather have the Tyler, warts and all. Knowing you got baggage, and I may not agree with all of it. I may not like all of it. Some of it may irritate me. But I'd rather have that and love you 100, 100, whatever, all the way out, than trade you in because you didn't measure up for another fake person waiting on their true self to come out.
I guess the place too, like if you ever go through anything, who you going to talk to? Who are you going to call?
The church has closed it down. We have created an environment in the church world to where we shoot our own. The pressure the church puts on you is be as faked and perfect as you can. Because the moment that you're real, and let's be honest, nobody is going to make it through this life without some sort of sin. Nobody. Period. Man, I'm dealing with a guy right now. His wife just left him. You know how old he is?
Oh.
70. 70. What you supposed to be doing at 70? You're supposed to be retired. If you're me, you're retired at the beach. That's where I'm headed. Right? I'm going to have a t-shirt saying 70. Leather skin. Brown. That's me. Sitting with a pair of shades on. Just toasting. Preaching on the weekends. His wife left him. Right? Why? I don't know. So here's my thing. The church has made it where it is impossible. We preach grace, but it is impossible for you to admit wrongness. Because I'm going to kill you. You're going to be disqualified. You're not going to make it back. Now, I get punched in the mouth for that by hypocrites. Right? But I'm telling you right now, and I'm not going along this line too to say, well, we just need to sin more so we can have more grace. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is if these churches and pastors and preachers and all these leaders and all this other kind of stuff are going to talk about how good grace is, by George, you cannot then absolutely murder somebody in your own body and congregation that you've done life with for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years when they mess up. I mean, come on. So, and I guess I'm passionate about that because I've had it happen to me. Mm-hmm. It's happened to you. It's happened to people that you love. And it's like, they just go on, you know? It's funny how many of those people turn around when the shoe's on the other's foot, you know? Shouldn't have been, I get phone calls every now and then. Hey, would you consider this? Would you consider, what about this job over here? Would you consider, no, or we're sorry, you know? Now that I've gone through what I've gone through, I understand, blah, blah, blah. And I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate that phone call. Or thank you for thinking of me. But it's amazing to me how the script flips.
Yeah. Where were you when I was struggling?
It's easy to be the other hypocrite right there throwing stones. Isn't that what Jesus did? Mm-hmm. They're about to kill that old woman that was caught in an act of adultery. I don't know what Jesus wrote in the sand. I have a feeling he wrote names and sins. Right? When you take the mask off, you know what Jesus did on that day? That day he walked in, he said, boys, we ain't pretending today, put your rocks down. You got your mask on, you about to kill this girl right here, she's caught in an act of adultery. You're all so hypocritical, you hadn't even brought the man out here, it was with her. He got a free pass. Y'all gonna kill old girl. He starts writing names down, and then he starts writing their sins down. It's a funny thing what happens when a hypocrite's mask is removed. They go home. Gone. So, you know, we can't build our lives on others not liking the real us. We'll go to our third one and be done today with our podcast. But I like this stuff. I love talking about it. The scripture says this, Proverbs 29:25. The fear of man brings a snare. The fear of man. I'm scared you won't like me. It brings a snare. What's the snare? I become something that I'm not. It is harder. I would argue it is harder to live under the weight of something that you're not and try to not fail than to live under the weight of what people find out you really are and love you through it. Right? So that's what we're trying to create here at the Grove. It's not a place to where we look past sin, but it's a place where grace is offered more, and a place where it's authentic, and we go, you know what, our people are going to mess up, our people are going to make mistakes, our people are not going to fit the mold. I'm not going to fit the mold that you want as a pastor sometimes. If you look up Southern Baptist pastors in the profile picture, for one, I don't fit. You know, and I'm not trying to. I'm doing No Shave November, and then I'm liable to, I don't know what I'm liable to do. I cut all my hair off on the sides, grow it out along top. If we land Gundy, I may grow a mullet and rock it, man. You know, I'm not going to wear a suit and tie. It's not because I have anything against suit and ties. I love them. I've got them. If you are at a funeral, I'll wear one. If you get married, I'll put one on. I may wear one on Sunday, but I don't worship them. I like flip-flops. But I don't fit that mold. But there's a lot of people that don't fit my mold. And I don't need you to do that. I just want you to be you, and you to be you, and let me be me, right? And let's love each other in spite of it.
So the grace is the same everywhere, right? Should be. But then they come to church and someone goes through something, makes a mistake. It's like the church turns its back on them.
Do you know how freeing it is?
The grace.
There you go. Let's go. Jesus saves, but we kill.
Yeah, you did that. Oh, you're out.
You're done. Man, I'm telling you, man. We have people that we rub elbows with every day, and they're here with us on Sunday, and they get in a ditch with us. They're going to screw up Monday through Saturday. They're going to do it. And if I've invested 5 years, 6 years, 8 years of my life with you, and the first time you screw up, I let you go, cut you, kill you, get out of here. That says more about me than it does your sin.
Exact opposite of what Jesus did.
Complete opposite. I'm talking about complete. So what I'm arguing for is, and what I'm preaching here is, be who God created you to be. Just be him. Be her. Warts and all, man. And let people either accept you for that, and if they don't, they reject you for that. Let Jesus take it up. Mm-hmm. You know? So, haters gonna hate.
Keep rocking.
You know what's gonna happen? We're gonna get to heaven. All these people that told you and me and everywhere else we had to be a certain way, and they get there and they realize there was no cookie cutter. They're gonna be disappointed. I think a lot of people fuss too because they don't have the freedoms. If I'm not free to do that, neither are you. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna punish you because you found the freedom to do that. You know, you found the freedom to wear flip-flops to church on Sunday. Who do you think you are? That old boy, one time I walked in church with shorts on. He had a short sleeve shirt. He fussed at me. Can't believe you'd show your knees in church. I said, oh, I was young too. I guess Jesus loves your elbows more than he loves my knees. I mean, get the heck out of here. All right, so number 3 was this. We don't build our self-worth in other people. Let Christ be our guide. Here's the thing. We're not saying let grace abound. We're not saying, well, just let sin abound. We're not saying just, what we're saying is be you. Don't put a mask on for anybody, you know? But then the third thing is this. I become a hypocrite when I live behind the walls of my past hurts. So I become a hypocrite, and I begin to pretend because I've been hurt, so I live behind all this stuff. So bitterness, anger, frustrations take over my life. The pains of past have taken over my life. So I live behind all that, and I become a hypocrite rather than dealing with it. And the problem with that is when I don't deal with that pain, and I just pretend it's not there, I resent you because you're going on with life like nothing's wrong, and I'm carrying this emotional baggage. So now I'm pretending everything's good. But inside, I don't like you. And I don't know why I don't like you. I'll tell you why you don't like him. It's because you haven't dealt with your own struggles. You're living behind walls. What you're projecting is fake. What you need to do is take the mask off and go, I got some real hurts and struggles in here. I'm not mad at Tyler. I don't even know the guy. Why would I not like him? My insecurities, my pain is causing me to not like him because he represents everything that I can't be because of my pain. so I become a hypocrite. I think this is why you see a lot of people in church that are absolutely hard to get along with, make the pastor's life, not here at the Grove, thank goodness, but they make other pastors' lives hard. They make other church members' lives hard because they are hurt, angry, bitter, frustrated, had a relationship fail, had something done to them, did something, whatever, can't forgive themselves. But they put the mask on and come to church or do life like everything's okay, and then all of a sudden you get something out of them, and you're going, why are they so mean? Why are they so... It's because they're living behind the walls of their past hurts and pain. Their insufficient understanding of self, their insecurities. You're a pretty secure guy.
Mm-hmm.
You make people with insecurities not like you, right? I roll into somewhere, I'm a pretty secure guy. There's people that absolutely hate my guts just from my look, just because of the way I handle myself. Mm-hmm. It's not because I did anything, it's in them. Because they're hiding behind their walls. You know what I mean? So they hide behind their walls and they fake, you know. And so then when you're dealing with this person that's a hypocrite and you go, I don't think they like me. And they go, what? Yeah, they do. And you're like, bro, I'm just telling you. They don't like me. Well, I don't know why. And then now you feel dumb, right? I don't know. Or somebody barks at you, says something. I don't know why they said, I bet they didn't mean it. If they did mean it, you saw the real them for a minute, and they had to get their mask back on.
Yeah.
What do people say? Every time they say something dumb, or something, they say something racist, or they say something out of character, here's what they come back and they go, I'd like to say I'm sorry, and that statement didn't accurately depict who I really am. Yeah, it did. Mm-hmm. You just got caught, bro. The real you spoke. Because you've been living behind that mask of hypocrisy for so long, you forgot you had it off, and you spoke, and somebody heard it. And before you could get your mask back on to put it all back in the box, you've been found out. So what I mean is, that doesn't actually, accurately depict who the fake me is.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Listen, if I've ever messed up, and I have a ton, yes, it was an accurate depiction of who I am. The real me. Flaws and all. Right? I'm not okay with it. I'm sorry. And I need to grow. I need to do better. That's part of my weakness. Right? But for me to come out and say, that didn't accurately depict who I really am, I struggle with that, man.
Yeah, you see it all the time.
Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. People lose their cool, they lose this, they lose that, but it's in those moments, maybe in anger, maybe in frustration, maybe caught up in the moment, they're not guarded, no filter, and it comes out.
Yeah.
And what it really exposed was, I've got an issue here that I need to deal with. It's okay. We can all deal with your issue. Okay? We can all... I will support you as you deal with that. There's nothing out there that you can't deal with. But don't compound that issue by saying that's not really who I am.
Yeah.
Right? Because now what I did is I discarded it and said, I won't have that issue no more because that's not even really who I am. All you did is make it dormant. So you battle that by allowing God to give you a new heart and to work. So you got to be careful with hurts, man, because you'll become a hypocrite real quick with hurts. And that's why you got people in marriages and they can't seem to move forward in their marriage because they've been hurt in marriage and now they're hiding behind the walls. Let me leave you this quote from Rick Warren. Rick Warren said it like this. When you think about hurts and stuff, he said, there's one thing I love more than teaching from the pulpit. It's being out on Saddleback's patio where I get to greet and rub shoulders with the people who attend. I love talking to people one-on-one. After 3 decades of being out on that patio and talking to thousands and thousands of people, I've learned an interesting pattern. When I say to a toddler, come here, the toddler comes with arms wide open. You can see that happening, right? Mm-hmm. But every time you get hurt, your embrace gets a little bit smaller. And you're a little bit more cautious. I've discovered that teenagers are more reserved because they've already built up some hurts. That's pretty interesting fact. He's saying, when I've seen a little kid, I said, come here, and they come running. And you catch them, right? And we were just playing with one of our staff member's daughter upstairs. Right? She's young, like 4. She just plays, doesn't think about it. As you get older, as he said, you become more reserved. Let me give you a hug. Just pull back. Where's that coming from? Hurts. That's what happens in life when we're walking through and we become a hypocrite behind the hurts. Put the mask on, we pretend we close way down. And so we got to be careful as we close down in life because of the hurt. So, there it is. How do you become a hypocrite? There's 3 ways.
It's good stuff, man.
Regift. But God can regift your pretending. That's what he did for Judah. That's what he did for Tamar. They pretended to be something that they weren't, and God regifted it. And that's why I say, look, be who you are. Ask for forgiveness for your weaknesses and for your failings that do accurately depict who you are. But allow Christ to take those, regift those, grow you, and do more through you with the real you than the hypocritical you.
It's good, man.
And don't sacrifice your real life for people that they're not real either.
They're not going to be there for you when stuff happens.
No.
We have another podcast come off this week. Stay tuned for that. The worst days. How God can regift your worst days.
Yeah, man. I mean, how many of us have had some pretty awful moments in life and letting God take those and regift them? Ruth's husband died. Her brother-in-law died. And her father-in-law died.
Mm-hmm.
And God regifted her and gave her a future she couldn't have imagined.
Yeah. So we'll do that podcast later this week.
Coming up.
But man, glad to be back doing the podcast.
Glad to be back. I know it was a little bit longer than usual, or maybe not, I don't know. But here's the deal, is we want you to get the most that we can out of Scripture. And I know sometimes we say stuff that people go, really? Yeah, we do, because we just want to push you and challenge you. I want to see you live the best life that you can for Christ, but the most freeing life that you can live for Christ. Don't fit a mold somebody forces on you. Be that mold that God created you to be. He's the author and finisher of your faith. He's the creator of who you are. He's got a plan for you. So follow through with that, and be blessed.
Be blessed.
Say What Podcast. See you later on this week. Bye.